All right, folks, listen carefully. There was a death for the king again. So, you know Elvis, he was known as the king. And Elvis, he lived in Memphis, Tennessee. That's where Graceland, his compound, is called. Anyway, Elvis is the king of Memphis, Tennessee. So, you know, you better look out if you have a funny name that's connected to that. If you know what I'm trying to say here, watch. So there was a black rapper who was killed in Memphis, Tennessee yesterday. And I wonder, does he have a connection to the word king? So the rapper became famous. Like I said, his name is Young Dolph, the one that got shot. And when he became famous, his album was called King of Memphis. Okay? Elvis is not going to let you get away with that. All right? Elvis had this guy killed. So according to this, the album was released in 2016. And I told you guys that the 216 number is Obama's birthday. The 216th day of the year is August 4th, the date that Trump gets his head wound. And I told you guys that 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216. And he was 36 years old. 3 sixes, get it? 666. And also, if you went 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 all the way up to 36, equals 666, those numbers. So everything's connected to the 666. And like I said, he named the album King of Memphis, and that's why he was killed. Because Elvis is the king of Memphis. And interestingly enough, he was killed at a cookie store. And why am I showing you this? Because cookie equals the exact same as the word father. You see, father equals the exact same as the word cookie. Because I told you, they love to mock God. Like I said, the guy got shot at a cookie store. That's where he was when he got shot. And speaking of that 666, look at this. There's a band called 666 Mafia. And look, they have an album called Kings of Memphis. And one of the band members from the 3-6 Mafia, because I told you 3-6 is the 666 Mafia, his name was Lord Infamous. I mean, so it's got the Lord in it, right? Let's see what happened to this guy. So this rapper, he died. He was the only one out of the group that died, I think. And look, he had the name Lord, I told you. And they had that King of Memphis album. I told you, you can't take Elvis's crown. So if you name yourself Lord or King, you're in trouble. And I'll prove it to you some more right after this one. So the band was from Memphis, Tennessee. And he died of a heart attack. You know, just look, folks, I'm not saying that it's not a possibility that he could have died of natural causes, but, I told you, you can't name yourself Lord and get away with it in Elvis's eyes. Like I said, he was born in Memphis, Tennessee, where Elvis was from. This Lord dude. Tell me this is not a creepy picture. Watch this. Elvis sitting in a gold chair like a throne, and he's surrounded by 12 people. I mean, can you believe this? It's like Jesus and the apostles. And do you know what the name of these guys were? Elvis and his crew? The Memphis Mafia. You see that? That's what their name was. You can read what it says. So now when you see an album cover that says 666 Mafia, Kings of Memphis, Do you understand? This is in reference to Elvis, okay? Because he's the 666 dude. He's the head of Skull and Bones, I told you. He's the 322 guy. And today is the 322nd day of the year. That's right. I'll do a video about how Elvis is the head of Skull and Bones, the 322 guy, in another video. And I told you, you cannot be a king and get away scot-free if Elvis was around. So Elvis was alive when Martin Luther King was killed. Okay? Like I say, he's got the king in his name. And he died on April 4th, 4-4. That's the kill number, 44. 44 equals kill. But what's important is that a king was killed. And where was this king killed? And where was Martin Luther King assassinated on April 4th? Memphis, Tennessee. You see that? Where Elvis lived. You understand? And in 1968, Elvis turned 33 years old. He was 33 years old when Martin Luther King died. You understand? Basically, what I'm saying is Martin Luther King stepped into Memphis and he got his brains blown out. And I told you Elvis is going to show up on June 11th. Somehow Elvis manifests. I don't know how, but on June 11th, it's in Seattle after a catastrophic event. Okay, and it has a connection to the Space Needle. And why am I showing you this? Because, see, Seattle is in King County. Okay, and I just told you Elvis was known as the king, right? So I just want to confirm that to you. So King County, Seattle is in King County, okay? And it's got the word seat in it, S-E-A-T, because, you know, they're saying this is where the throne is. See, it's the county seat, the seat of the king, get it? Anyway, I've shown you all the, you know, things associated with Seattle. But right now, just concentrate on the fact that Seattle's in King County, Elvis was known as the king, and now I'm going to show you the connection to MLK. So the King County in Washington, where Seattle is, it was named after a different king all the way up until 2005. And then from 2005, they named it after Martin Luther King now. You understand what I'm trying to say? I told you that Elvis had the MLK whacked in Memphis, Tennessee, and now they named Seattle after Martin Luther King. I mean, King County, because that's what they're going to do. They're going to destroy that whole area. All right, that's why they named it after Martin Luther King. That's Seattle, King County, because they're going to destroy it. And according to this, that's the exact date of when they made it, you know, when they changed it and made it in honor of Martin Luther King, that King County. And, you know, according to this, Elvis was a big fan of professional wrestling. And the reason I'm showing you this, so the reason I'm bringing that up is because this guy was known as the King as a wrestler. See, it says Jerry the King Lawler. And the reason I'm bringing him up, all right, first of all, he's got my channel's initials, JL. Anyway, I'm surprised they didn't kill him. But the reason he's not dead, okay, see, he was born in Memphis, Tennessee, and he also had the king. But why is he not dead? Is because Elvis liked wrestling. And Elvis and Jerry Lawler almost had a wrestling match. Like, it was almost going to happen, but he ended up dying, Elvis, like a few months after they had planned this, you know. Anyway, Jerry Lawler, he's also involved. He was involved in this controversy involving Andy Kaufman. Again, I'm going to tell you why this is important in a minute. And Andy Kaufman, there was a movie made about him by Jim Carrey, okay, who played Andy Kaufman in the movie Man on the Moon. And it was a staged event. Supposedly Jerry Lawler slapped Andy Kaufman on David Letterman's show or something, some nonsense. But what's important is this guy had a wrestling match with this Andy Kaufman guy, and he hurt Andy Kaufman. You know, of course, it was all BS. But the reason I'm bringing this up is, remember, he's known as the King from Memphis, Tennessee. And what happened to Andy Kaufman? So remember, he's got the man in his name. I told you the son and man are the codes for one of those unbelievable stories, if you know what I mean. Anyway, he died in the year 84, and I told you the 84 is a very important number. But forget about that. The reason I'm bringing it up, because see, Andy Kaufman, they say that he faked his death. Okay? And the reason I'm saying that is because they still think he's alive, just like Elvis. People think he's alive. And I told you the name Elvis is an anagram for the word lives. And that's how Andy Kaufman became famous, was doing impressions of Elvis Presley. And look, it's in 1977. That's the year Elvis died, in 1977. And that's when he became famous, Andy Kaufman, doing Elvis impressions. And you know Elvis, he was born on January 8th, right? And Jim Carrey, who played Andy Kaufman in the movie Man on the Moon, he's born January 17th, 8 days after Elvis. And, 9 days after Elvis. But 1 and 7 equals 8. And that's why I was showing that, because January 8th. And then look, 1 plus 7 is 8. That could be January 8th also. And also, the Andy Kaufman, he was born on January 17th. Same thing as Jim Carrey. What is the chance of that? And Jim Carrey plays him. And remember how I showed you how Jim Carrey, he played Elvis. This is supposed to be Elvis with the devil's horns and all that other stuff. Look, on Saturday Night Live. Elvis, you see? And when he went on as Elvis, look at this, as a ram-horned Elvis impersonator, you know what he was singing? He was singing some stupid song called Pecan Pie. And no one knows why he was singing it, but I do, because it was the pee-pee. I told you, everything is about the pee-pee. And it's not just the reference to the wiener. It's a reference to the number, because P is the 16th letter. Okay, and I've told you guys how important the 16 is to Elvis. Okay, the PP. It's the double 16. The 16th state is Tennessee. And Elvis died on August 16th. Another 16, you see? And look, it even became a state on 6/1. 1/6. You get what I'm trying to say? And Trump was born in the 6th month, and Elvis was born in the 1st month. Do you get it? There's your 1/6 again. And I've shown you guys that June 14th on our calendar is actually June 1st. Okay? It's the 6/1. June 14th, Trump's birthday is actually 6/1. And remember, I was telling you that PP is the 16 is 16. From Elvis's birthday, you go forward 1,616 days, which is the 1616. It lands on June 11th. I told you, June 11th is when Elvis appears, man. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Okay? And if you change the year to a leap year, if it lands on it, it becomes 1617. And why is that important? Because I told you Trump is going to get his head wound in Ohio, and that's the 17th state. Okay, do you understand? Elvis died in Tennessee, but he didn't really die. Who knows what happened to him? and he's coming back in Seattle. But Ohio, Trump gets his head wound and he doesn't die. He survives also. 16 and 17 equals 33. You understand? And I told you Trump's head wound is on August 4th, Obama's birthday, in Ohio. And Elvis comes back on Seattle in 6/11. And now you understand what the PP is right there in The Apprentice, in the word apple too. So you have the PP, which is 1616, or you can add the letter A to the P, you get 17 and 16. Okay? And I told you the word the equals dawn, D-O-N. And look, dawn is right above the AP, which is 17. AP is 17, you see? And I told you that this guy right here is on the letter R, which is the 18th letter, and Elvis was born on 1/8. Okay, you see? So he's the 16 guy. See, he's right above the 6. You understand? And they're there to entice, like in the Garden of Eden, like I told you guys. And when was the show The Apprentice? Remember, this is Donald Trump's show. And the first episode of The Apprentice, the air date was January 8th, which is Elvis's birthday. And look at the year. It's 4, right? So if you forget about the right here, because when you do the dates, you write 184, 1804. That's the date Trump gets his head wound, 804. You get what I'm saying? August 4th. Anyway, so The Apprentice first aired on Elvis's birthday, January 8th. Come on, man. I told you Elvis and Trump are the devil twins. Anyway, folks, these are my 2 predictions. Okay? 2 different predictions, but connected to Elvis and Trump because they're the devil twins. I could have shown you a bunch of more deaths connected to Elvis and Trump, but I'm going to do those in separate videos. Right now, I'm just going to leave it at that, folks. End of video.